When she woke up, she was no longer her playful self. Lily just sat silently on the bed, her big round eyes gazing distantly out the window, looking a bit listless. A dad's intuition told him something was wrong. Dad quickly dropped his work and hurried to Lily's side. Seeing her dad, she offered him an empty basket, a silent plea for help. Without hesitation, Dad gently lifted his little daughter into his arms.
Chàng gì đi nha. Đây rồi chàng gì nha. Không ra ngoài ốm sao hả? Ốm ở nhà nằm nghỉ chưa? Có gì gọi là nhá, thấy không? Nằm nghỉ đi, chờ ba tí bà lấy thuốc cho uống nhá, được không? Nhá, chờ ba tí nhá. Hãy nằm đây nhá, bà lấy thuốc cho Ly nhá, chưa? Chờ ba tí ha, chờ ba tí.
His love was evident in every action. He tenderly carried Lily into the house, placed her on the soft bed, checked her temperature, and patiently coaxed her to take each spoonful of medicine.
Đừng đi nữa nhé, nhé. Uống này nhanh khỏi nghe chưa? Ha. Thôi ngủ đi, ngủ đi, ngủ xíu đi ha. Ngủ xíu đi nhé. Ngủ xíu đi ha. Ngủ xíu đi, ba kiếm gì cho Ly ăn nhé, được không? Con nào ngủ xíu đi con, ha. Đây, ngoan đi, ha.
While Lily slept, Dad's love didn't stop. He quietly went out to the garden and picked the juiciest, freshest oranges, a gift from nature to help his daughter get well soon. When Lily woke up, Dad was right there beside her. He gently peeled the orange, separating it into sweet segments to feed her.
Rồi, đây ha. Trời ơi, sao đỡ mệt chưa? Có đỡ mệt chưa? Đỡ rồi hả? Thôi được rồi, bà lấy cam cho Ly nhá. Nhá. Sao? Đỡ mệt à? Đỡ mệt à? Đỡ mệt à? Đỡ mệt à? Hả? Ho tí thôi nhỉ? Thôi được rồi. Đây, nó can cho Ly đây. Mới bớt này, thấy không? Đấy. Giờ ngồi yên nữa con nhé. Mai để bà lấy cho. Bà chỉ cái bàn ra ngồi cho nó dễ ngồi nhá. Đấy. Rồi. Đây, ngồi đây ha. Con cao nó mọc hỏng nhé đi nhá. Đúng rồi đấy. Rồi, đó.
The workday in the garden continued. The father pushed a wheelbarrow full of fresh grass to feed the goats. Sitting neatly in the wooden feeding trough, the little monkey Lily, in her pink and white outfit and cute straw hat, curiously watched the goats enjoy the meal her father had brought.
Đi uống đây nè.
After finishing that job, the father began to tend to the small pond, carefully arranging pebbles along the bank. Seeing her dad working alone, Lily left her play spot and trotted over to his side.
Đau lưng xíu nữa ha. Đau lưng xíu.
The father stopped his work, affectionately adjusted his little daughter's hat, and then they walked back to the house together.
Ba không sao đi nhé, ba đâu tí ha. Đau lưng tí thôi, sao đâu. Nằm đó ha, nằm đó. Ba đang nghỉ tí nhá, thấy chưa? Ba không sao đâu ha. Đây Ly. Ly bỏ mũi cho ba nào. Bỏ mũi lên ghế cho ba. Bỏ lên ghế.
As soon as they got inside, the father lay down on the wooden sofa, exhaustion clear on his face. Then she gently climbed onto her resting father, found a warm spot. A little while later, as if remembering something, Lily woke up and quietly went outside. She walked over to a goat that was tied to a small wooden cart. With adorable determination, Lily climbed into the cart, took the reins, and began her important trip. The obedient goat pulled its little owner for a loop around the yard, heading straight for the familiar grocery store.
Hi Lily. Lily muốn đổ hàng hả Lily?
Stopping the cart right in front of the counter, Lily got out.
Đổ hàng vào đây cho tao. Lily muốn mua gì một Lily chọn đi.
Took some eggplants from her cart and traded them for a pack of salongpa, something she believed would help ease her father's aches and pains. With her medicine of love in hand, Lily hurried back, driving her goat cart across the brick patio, and then ran quickly into the house. Seeing her father still lying tiredly on the couch, Lily ran to him, holding up the salonpas pack like a precious treasure. The father opened his eyes, and seeing the pack of patches in his daughter's hand, his eyes filled with endless surprise and emotion. He sat up, hugged Lily, and together they carefully opened the pack.
Dán lưng nè. Đúng rồi nè. Trời ơi, được quá nha. Ở đâu ra có tiền mua đấy? Ở đâu ra có tiền mua đấy này? Con trai này to quá vậy. À cái này kéo này, kéo phải dán nha. Dán lưng cái vai nha.
He lifted his shirt, pointing to his aching back. Understanding, Lily took a patch, and with her father's help, she clumsily but gently stuck it onto his back, giving it a few gentle pats as if to make sure he would get well soon.
Nóng cái lưng luôn đi. Hả? Nóng lưng luôn đấy. Rồi, Ly qua đây, Ly, qua bên này, Ly. Rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhé. Qua đây nè, qua đây, Thư này. Đây này. Cảm ơn nhé. Có cái áo nào? Cái áo bẩn như vậy. Cái áo bẩn quá ha. Ha.
After a day of work and rest, the father and daughter prepared for a new trip. The father carried little Lily, who was now changed into a bright pink tracksuit.
Okay.
He held her affectionately, and they walked out into the yard together. He carefully placed Lily on the seat in front of their classic blue motorcycle. Lily was incredibly excited, as if cheering, "Let's go, Dad!" And they began their journey down the winding tree-lined village road. The joy didn't last long. The motorcycle suddenly sputtered and died in the middle of the road. A worried look crossed the father's face as he tried to check the vehicle. Lily, sitting in front, also turned to look at her dad with curious and innocent eyes, as if asking, "What's wrong with the bike, Dad?"
Ngồi im đi ơi, ngồi im nào. Ba để xe này. Sao thế?
Her dad got off and began to meticulously inspect the old engine.
Dad.
Seeing her father in trouble, Lily couldn't sit still.
Sao vậy?
She climbed from her seat into the basket on the front, then hopped down to the ground to get closer to her dad. She stood beside him, putting a hand on her head with a thoughtful expression,
Ai chà.
like a little engineer trying to diagnose the motorcycle's illness.
Xe hư rồi Ly ơi.
"I'll
Bây giờ
check
người ta
the
gọi
engine,"
sao?
Lily seemed to say. She imitated her dad, touching parts of the engine, trying to understand the problem. She showed deep concentration and a strong desire to help.
Sao vậy Ly? Sao rồi? Sao bây giờ nhỉ? Ai chà. Bây giờ Lily, con ra kia ngồi chơi nhé.
While her dad was still struggling, Lily had another innocent moment, running to the roadside to pick and taste some small yellow wildflowers. But she quickly returned to her mission. A new idea sparked. She had to find help. She walked by herself down the empty road. in the middle and held up her tiny hand, trying to wave at passing cars in the hope that someone would stop.
Ủa? Ly đâu rồi? Ly ơi! Ly! Ly ơi! Ly ơi!
Can anyone help my dad? Please help my dad. Her silent pleas echoed in the quiet space.
Hi.
But the cars just rushed past, no one noticing the little girl standing alone. Unable to fix the bike, the father had to start pushing the broken motorcycle. When Lily saw this, she ran after him.
Trời ơi! Ra đây làm gì đây? Hả? Ra đây ba xe nào?
Her dad stopped and lifted his little daughter onto the bike.
Hả?
Lily looked at her dad with loving eyes and said,
Tìm người giúp bà.
"Nobody was willing to help us, Dad."
Giỏi quá ha. Thôi nhưng mà xe mình hư thì vào tiệm
He
nhé,
hugged
vào
her tightly,
tiệm sửa chữa
a
xe
hug
nhé.
to chase away the disappointment.
Chưa ở đây không có ai đâu nhé. Thôi đi về nhá. Mình đi mua trái cây rồi đi về nhé. Không bị đắt bộ tí được ha. Nha. Ha.
Then he carefully placed Lily in the front basket, and together they slowly pushed the bike along the road home. After their not-so-smooth trip, the father and daughter returned home. In Lily's hands was a basket full of fresh green beans. Her dad bent down, added a few more beans to Lily's basket, and they went out to the garden behind the house.
Vào đây Ly ơi. Ly đang chờ kìa. Thấy không? Em cho xe ăn nhé. Vào đây, đây.
There, Lily brought the basket of beans to the goat's feeding trough. She stood beside it, taking the beans one by one and kindly feeding them by hand.
Bỏ cho bé ăn kìa con. Đúng rồi. Đây đi. Vào đây.
She continued her feeding job, showing her diligence and love for animals.
Đây đi. Vào đây. Đây này con. Đây đi. Đó. Đây đi. Thôi đi bán táo nhé. Thôi đi, bỏ dây đi bán táo đi.
Once the task was complete, they went back inside together.
Đây đi. Đây đi.
As soon as they were inside, Lily ran to her familiar little wooden table and sat down properly in her chair. Her father then went to the kitchen, carefully peeled an apple, and cut it into small, bite-sized pieces. He arranged the apple slices on a wooden tray and brought them out to his patiently waiting daughter.
Chờ tí nha. Lấy dĩa con này. Đó. Rồi con ăn đi. Ra ăn táo đi.
With the delicious plate of apples in front of her, Lily picked up a fork, looking quite skillful. Spearing each piece of apple herself, she happily enjoyed her snack. After finishing all the apple slices, Lily raised her arms to the sky and gave a satisfying stretch, as if to show she'd had a wonderful snack and was ready for the next adventure with her dad. The sound of the hoe striking the ground was steady, turning over clumps of moist, soft earth, promising a good season of green vegetables for his little girl. Meanwhile, in a corner of the yard, little Lily, in a bright yellow shirt, her hands gripping the wooden fence, her big round eyes fixed on her dad's sturdy back. In her eyes, her dad was immense, so strong. Suddenly, an idea sparked in her mind. Dad is working so hard, I have to do something for him. So she ran quickly back into the house. Lily went to her small desk, where her bag and helmet from the morning still lay. She carefully slung the bag over her shoulder,
Okay.
then climbed onto a cabinet to reach her blue helmet. She tried to put it on her head, looking quite comical. Her vehicle for the trip was a lovely pink toy car. She excitedly climbed in, gripping the steering wheel. Lily fumbled with all the buttons on the dashboard, but the car remained still. She looked around in confusion, not understanding why her adventure couldn't begin. A little disappointed, Lily quickly came up with a new plan. She climbed out of the car, went back to the cabinet, and swapped the helmet for her straw hat. She now looked like a real tiny farmer. With her straw hat and bag, she decided to undertake a more important mission, to buy water for her hardworking dad in the garden. She toddled down the village path to the small stall at the end of the lane.
Chào Ly nha. Em mua gì Ly? Em mua gì con lựa đi nha. Rồi, lựa đi. Lúc này hả? Để tiền đây cho ba nha. Giỏi lắm.
She picked up a bottle of water, then solemnly held out her money to pay the shopkeeper before quickly carrying the water back to her dad. Lily held the bottle, toddling along the dirt path, passing through her secret banana forest to get back to the garden. The water bottle in her hand felt like a precious treasure. Reaching her dad, she offered him the water, then stood on her tiptoes, taking his hat to wipe the beads of sweat from his forehead.
Đi đâu đây?
Her dad's heart melted at this small, yet deeply loving gesture.
Đâu, xem nào. Đây, tôi mở cho. Có vào đôi mát nhá, nắng quá. Ha. Nắng không? Tôi mở nhé, mở đi con. Mở đi. Mở đi. Đây. Đây ha.
He didn't drink right away, but opened the bottle and carefully held it to Lily's lips so she could drink first.
Nữa không? Rồi, để bà uống nhé, đứng yên con.
Under the afternoon sun, the two shared the cool, refreshing water. The sweetness of the water seemed to blend with the sweetness of their father-daughter bond, simple yet sacred.
Nào, đi về ha.
After their rest, the dad swept his little daughter up into his arms. Together, they walked through the banana garden, passed through the familiar gate, and returned home.
Đưa chị cho Ly này ha. Mình để đi Ly thu hoạch chuối nha.
The dad's workday ended with that sweet image, an image of boundless love, of peaceful and priceless moments that would forever remain in the memories of them both. In the cozy living room, a little monkey named Lily, dressed in a cute pink and white outfit, was absorbed in her favorite TV show on the soft sofa. Suddenly, her eyes fell upon her father, who was diligently mopping the floor. He suddenly swayed, a look of fatigue and dizziness flashing across his face. Concern immediately appeared on Lily's innocent face. Without a moment's hesitation, she quickly hopped off the couch and her little feet scurried over to her dad.
Sao? Cái bài đâu?
With her tiny hands, Lily tugged on his pant leg, gently pulling him as if to say, "Dad, please take a little break."
Trời ơi, ba đang mệt này. Ba đang mệt chơi Ly đâu? Nhá.
Understanding his daughter's innocent yet sincere concern, they sat down together on the wooden sofa, with Lily sitting obediently in her father's lap, her eyes still fixed on his face.
Lily, ngồi chơi đi con, ba đang nghỉ xíu nha. Sao Lily? Muốn ba nghỉ à? Ba đang nghỉ nhé. Lily, bây giờ bố đang mệt nhá. Bố không chơi Ly được đâu ha. Sao? Sao? Ba đang đi nghỉ tí nhá. Nghỉ tí nhá. Đây. Bố ôm tí nào.
When her dad lay down to rest, Lily, still feeling worried, continued to show her care. She ran to a small table, grabbed a cloth, and, imitating her father's movements, diligently cleaned the remaining corners of the house. In her mind, helping her dad finish his work would make him happier and feel better sooner. After her work was done, a sudden idea sparked in Lily's mind. She put on a cute straw hat, took a small basket, and went by herself to the nearby grocery store.
Bạn mua gì đó Lily? Lily mua gì đó?
At first, following a child's instinct, Lily picked out a few cartons of her favorite milk and put them in her basket.
lần sau nhớ ghé mua để Lily đi.
But then she paused for a moment, her expression thoughtful. The image of her tired father returned to her, and as if remembering something more important.
Có chuyện gì vậy? Không mua thuốc à? Cửa hàng tôi không có thuốc, nhưng mà có cái này từ Lily. Vitamin này giúp bạn khỏe hơn đấy.
Lily decided to put the milk cartons back and chose a tube of yellow effervescent vitamin C tablets instead. With this healthy gift in her basket, Lily happily returned home. Seeing her father still resting, she gently placed the basket beside him. Her father woke up, his eyes filled with surprise and emotion when he saw the vitamin C.
Ô, này cho bà hả Ly? Thế nào, bà thương nào? Cảm ơn Ly nhá. Thế bà có mũ cho Ly nào. Ở đây nhá. Rồi, cảm ơn Ly ha. Cái này uống này giảm sốt cũng được này. Bên này, bên này coi nhé. Rồi, bây giờ lấy nước uống ha. Cảm ơn Ly nhá, được chưa? Để lấy bà lấy cái này bà uống nhé. Mở cái này hả? Mở ra hả?
Understanding that his dad needed water to mix it, Lily quickly ran to the small refrigerator, used all her strength to open the door, took out a bottle of water, and brought it to him.
Rồi, cảm ơn Ly nhá. Để uống thuốc hả? Đây này, ba lấy thuốc này. Xem nhá, xem ba lấy thuốc bảo uống này. Đó, nào.
The father took the bottle, dissolved the tablet, and drank it with happiness.
Này, thấy không nè? Thấy chưa?
Lily's small act, filled with so much love, became the most precious medicine of all, soothing away all his fatigue. One quiet afternoon, in their familiar home, Lily was sitting neatly in her favorite yellow beanbag chair. She leaned against her dad as they watched films of their own past adventures on TV. Lily watched the screen intently, occasionally looking up at her dad with eyes full of trust and love. Suddenly, her dad stood up, patting Lily's head and saying, "Be a good girl, Lily. I'm just going to do your laundry." As soon as her dad was out of sight, the mischievous little girl sprang up. An idea sparked in her mind. She toddled over to the small yellow refrigerator, stood on her tiptoes to open the door, and pulled out a bright red apple, almost as big as herself. She happily hugged her prize, returned to her beanbag chair, and began to enjoy her snack. After finishing the apple, Lily went to the table and got a yogurt.
Nani?
She fumbled to open the lid and then ate it clumsily with a spoon, spilling yogurt all over the table and her pretty t-shirt.
Ủa, Lily? Con làm gì vậy? Đói bụng à?
When her dad returned and saw his little girl's battlefield, he didn't scold her at all. He just gently pointed at the mess, and Lily seemed to understand, looking apologetic.
Chờ tí bà lên bà làm cho ăn chứ, hả? Nè, nè, áo này, bà mới giặt xong đấy nhỉ, thấy không? Thấy không? Thấy chưa? Bà hết rồi đấy kìa, rồi táo mà ăn được vứt kìa kìa. Ăn cái gì vậy? Ăn phải cẩn thận chứ, sạch sẽ chứ, thấy chưa? Thật là thường nhá, không được như vậy nghe chưa? Này này. Thôi đừng ăn cái đó nữa, đưa bà xúc cho ăn, đây đây, bà xích cái đây. Đây. Đó. Ăn đi rồi bà thay đồ rồi là quần áo chưa? Giặt đi, giặt lên cho Ly luôn nhá. Đúng rồi. Lần sau kêu ba nhé. Rồi con qua lấy giấy đi. Đi qua lấy giấy đi. Kìa. Đúng rồi, qua đây nào.
Her dad gave her a paper towel and patiently showed her how to clean the table. Lily obediently followed his lead, wiping up the yogurt spills and then carrying the dirty paper to the trash can to throw it away.
Nốt nha. Ghê quá. Thấy chưa? Ghê quá. Rửa hết cái áo rồi kìa. Rồi, hết rồi. Rồi, lấy thêm giấy đi, lấy thêm giấy bà lau miệng cho. Lấy thêm giấy đi. Rồi, để bà lau miệng cho.
Seeing that his daughter knew how to admit her mistake and fix it, her dad lovingly wiped her hands and mouth, then lifted her up to change her dirty shirt.
Rồi, thôi, không ăn nữa, không ăn nữa nhé. Biết là đi thích rồi nha. Này, đây con bỏ thùng rác đi, thùng rác đi. Rồi, qua đây. Đây, đi bật cởi áo đây. Đấy này. Ôi trời, cởi ra, cởi ra. Đây cho ba. Rồi. Để đây mà giặt luôn nhé. Này, đi ra bỏ cái táo thùng rác không? Thùng rác đi. Bỏ thùng rác đi con. Không ăn nữa, thùng rác đi. Đúng rồi. Ồ, giỏi lắm. Thôi đi đây nè, đi đây vào. Đi đi.
On another beautiful sunny day, Dad took Lily for a ride on his motorbike. Looking like a quirky little adventurer in her small yellow helmet and sunglasses, Lily sat securely in the front basket. They arrived at an outdoor cafe. Dad carefully took off Lily's helmet and sunglasses.
Đi nào. Đi vào đây nhé.
And sat her on a chair at a table.
Đi gọi Hiếu cũng đi kêu nha. Cô ơi, cho con menu cô. Cho cháu một cacao lạnh. Ra được không Ly? Được không? Đấy được không? Trả tí uống sữa nha. Được chưa? Xin chào tí ha. Đấy, chào tí bà mang ra ha.
A plate of freshly sliced fruit was brought to the table. Lily skillfully used a small fork to eat each piece, and her dad also lovingly fed her some.
Ăn đi. Ăn xong sữa nhé. Được chưa? Ăn xong đi chơi nhé. Ăn xong đi chơi nhé. Ăn xong đi chơi. Chưa? Tí ra đi chơi. Thấy không? Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Ngon ha. Sao? Đây này, còn miếng đây này, ăn nhanh cái miếng đây này. Ăn xong rồi sữa uống nha. Đi ngồi đi. Ăn đây nè. Sao? Có bỏ đây không? Sao? Sao? Nóng đi.
A moment later, a warm glass of pristine white milk was brought to the table.
Này nóng này chưa này? Thấy không? Thấy không? Thấy nóng không? Nóng đấy, nóng đấy. Nóng ấy. Nóng không? Thấy chưa?
Dad stirred it with a spoon, then put a straw in it, and helped Lily hold the glass to drink.
Yeah. Để bác cầm nhé, để bác cầm nhé.
Lily held the glass with her two tiny hands and drank the sweet milk happily. Ngon quá ha. Đã quá ha. Đã quá ha. Yeah. Hôm nay Ly khỏe mọi người ạ. Bây giờ Ly uống xong mình cho Ly đi chơi nhá. Chào đi chơi ha. Bắt đi dạo nhá. Được không? Đã quá ha. Để cầm đây này. Đúng rồi. Đâu đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Hết luôn. 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 Hết
Hết luôn. Cố lên nào, hết luôn. Rồi, hết rồi. Chà. Chà.
After she finished, Dad carefully wiped the lingering drops of milk from her cute lips and small hands with a tissue.
Đấy. Rồi. Con thấy táo không? Con thấy táo không? Không ăn nữa hả? Không ăn bỏ đây. Không ăn. Thôi ha. Để uống nước nha. Đấy, thử miếng xem ngon không? Dạ. Ngon mà. Thôi ha. Rồi, ha. Rồi, đi nào, chơi nhá. Rồi, xong rồi ha. Xong rồi mình đi chơi nhá. Đi tiền đi chơi nhá. Nhá. Ha. Rồi,
Finally, as dusk began to fall, Lily climbed into her dad's lap and snuggled into his shirt, seeking his familiar warmth. Dad stood up, holding his little girl in his arms. For Lily, her dad's embrace was a world of peace, where every adventure ended in boundless sweetness and love.
Rồi ha. Chơi ha.
In a lush green backyard, under the gentle morning sun, Lily was enjoying a peaceful morning. Dressed in a cute outfit, she sat perched on a wooden swing, her tiny feet dangling and swaying to the rhythm as she chirped cheerful melodies. Nearby, her best friend, a black pig named Sam, was lazily basking in the sun. Seeing his friend, Lily gently slid off the swing and ran over to play, her clear laughter echoing throughout the garden. In a corner of the garden, Lily's dad was diligently tending to the vegetable patches. The back of his shirt was soaked with sweat, which rolled down his forehead. Engrossed in her game, Lily still remembered to glance over at her dad from time to time. Then, the mischievous little monkey climbed onto Sam's back, like a tiny knight preparing for her own adventure.
Ly ơi! Ly ơi!
But Lily's joy didn't last long, as she noticed her dad's face growing more and more tired. A sense of worry began to creep into her little heart.
Này nắng quá trời.
Her dad had to go inside to rest from exhaustion. Seeing her dad lying in bed, Lily rushed in, her round eyes shining with concern. The little monkey climbed onto the bed and used her tiny hands to clumsily massage her dad, a small gesture that held all her love and most sincere care.
Tiến vào kiếm gì Julian nha.
Her anxiety growing, Lily ran to get the thermometer. The number 38.1 you can see on the screen made Lily's heart sink. Dad had a high fever. The little monkey immediately remembered the magical fever-reducing patch her dad always used. She hurried to the first aid box, rummaged through everything, but to her despair, there wasn't a single one left.
Oh.
Panicked at not finding a fever patch, an idea flashed in Lily's mind. She needed money to buy one. Without hesitation, the little monkey rushed outside, found her dear pig friend, and nimbly climbed onto his back, urging her friend toward another part of the house.
Go.
There, Lily went to her toy safe, skillfully entered the code, and opened the door.
Uh-oh.
But disappointment struck. It was completely empty. Saddened, Lily went to her small study table and sat dejectedly. The image of her exhausted, feverish dad filled her young mind. In that moment, a momentous decision was made. Lily looked at her toy tablet, her most beloved possession, then resolutely picked it up and ran off, determined to sell it for money to buy medicine for her dad. Without a second thought, Lily ran outside, clutching the tablet. She sat for a long time in a familiar spot, hoping someone would buy her toy, but people just passed by indifferently.
Hi. Oh. Oh.
With a burning determination, Lily took the tablet to a woman she knew.
Bạn muốn bán thứ này ư?
Little monkey's pleading eyes and decisive action touched the woman's heart.
Của mình chứ. Được rồi, nó cũng được đấy.
She gently took the toy and gave Lily just enough money.
Đây này, tiền của bạn đây. Cảm ơn nhé.
Clutching the precious coins in her hand, Lily wasted no time, immediately jumping onto her loyal pig's back and hurrying to the store to buy the fever patch.
Liên mua cái gì? Liên mua gì hả? À. Rồi đây, quà của Liên nè. Rồi, mai Liên nha.
Bye bye.
The journey back seemed shorter, fueled by Lily's anticipation. The little monkey quickly rode the pig right up to her dad's bedside.
Dad.
Her dad,
Lily,
delirious from the fever,
Oh.
half opened his eyes to see his little child returning with the miracle in her hand.
Trời ơi, sao biết là mua cái này Liên? Sao biết mua hay à? Đây bà sẽ ha.
He managed to sit up slightly, took the patch from Lily, tore open the package himself, and placed it on his own hot forehead.
Thấy không? Ba gắn đi đấy. Thấy không? Ừ, nè. Đây này. Ờ.
The coolness from the patch seemed to soothe the fever, but the warmth of Lily's love was the most precious medicine of all. Moved by his daughter's heart, her dad opened his arms and pulled Lily into a hug.
Đấy, ốm á. Đấy.
And just like that, the two of them fell asleep. A peaceful and unusually warm
Gió
sleep.
ốm rồi đấy. Ha. Cảm ơn Ly nhá. Ôi. Anh nghỉ tí ha. Nghỉ tí ha. Tí lấy sữa cho Ly uống ha. Được không?
After a fitful sleep, filled with worry, little Lily stirred and woke up. Seeing her dad still deep in sleep, his breathing steady but his forehead still showing signs of fatigue.
Dad.
Lily moved as gently as she could, tiptoeing off the bed. Her bare feet pattered quietly on the cool floor as she made her way to the refrigerator in the living room. The familiar door opened, and a carton of cool milk appeared before her. Without hesitation, she decided this milk was for her dad, and only for her dad. He was sick, and he needed nourishment. Carefully, she brought the milk into the room.
Lily.
Her dad woke up. The first thing he saw was the milk carton
Yeah,
and
what's
Lily's
that?
clear, expectant eyes. He smiled, his heart warming. "My good girl,"
Đây, bà làm
he
cho Ly uống
whispered.
ha. Ừ. Đây. Đây, vào đây ha. Ừ. Nè, con uống đi. Ừ. Sao không uống hả? Uống đi con, này. Cầm lấy, uống đi. Sao? Uống đi con. Ừ. Ba uống hả? À, cho ba uống hả? Ồ, phải không ơi? Con uống đi, con uống đi.
Seeing her dad was feeling better, Lily dared to point at the milk, signaling for him to drink it.
Ba uống, cho ba uống hả? Cho ba uống sữa đây hả? Hả? Ồ. Cảm ơn Ly nhá. Thôi được rồi, bà lấy bánh cho con uống nhá, con ăn nhá. Được không?
After some persuasion from his daughter, her dad gave in. To reward his filial daughter, he went to the living room to get her a snack. But then, a sense of unease suddenly crept over him when he couldn't find Lily's beloved tablet anywhere.
Máy tính đi đâu ta? Ồ, đi.
Returning to the room, he gently asked her about it.
Máy tính đâu rồi? Sao? Máy tính
At
con đâu?
first, Lily just lowered her head in silence, her sparkling eyes welling up with tears.
Có bảo không?
With all his tenderness and patience, her dad managed to coax the whole story out of her. Each of his child's
À, bà biết
innocent
rồi.
words was like a
À,
needle piercing
rồi.
his heart.
Đi mua đồ cho ba đấy
It
hả?
turned out
Ừ.
his precious
Đồ đi
little
mua đồ
one
cho ba
had
hả?
sacrificed
Ừ,
her
bảo.
favorite toy, figuring out
Bảo
on her
hả?
own how to get money to buy a fever patch for him. He pulled Lily into a tight
Ok
hug,
nhá, đợi ba
kissing
xíu
her
ha.
little head as
Được chưa?
tears of
Đợi ba
happiness
xíu nào,
streamed
chị
down
nào
his cheeks.
Ừ.
Without a moment's hesitation, he rushed to the place where Lily had sold the tablet.
Dad.
At that moment, nothing was more important than bringing back his little girl's beloved friend.
chị cho em lấy cái máy. Hôm qua Lily nó vào nó bán máy tính phải không chị? Em lấy lại cái máy đó.
The moment he placed the tablet back into Lily's hands, her whole world lit up. Lily hugged the familiar toy, her eyes sparkling with pure joy.
Quá nào cũng trời ơi, thương vậy hả? Trời ơi, giỏi quá ha.
A radiant smile blossomed on both their faces. A smile of boundless love, silent sacrifice, and a simple yet sacred happiness. One beautiful morning, in a small and cozy house, a clever little girl named Lily was engrossed in watching cartoons. Her dad wanted to make the apple-filled buns that Lily loves so much, but he discovered they were out of flour. A gentle voice called out from the kitchen, "Lily, could you come in here with me for a moment?" Lily reluctantly tore her eyes away from the screen and quickly ran into the kitchen. "Let's make those apple buns you like, but we're all out of flour. Can you help me by going to the supermarket to buy some?" Dad said to Lily. Hearing about her favorite buns, Lily squealed with delight and nodded eagerly, ready to take on the important mission. Her dad tenderly placed a small blue helmet on her head, carefully fastening the strap, and then put a cute little backpack on her.
Ở nhà ba dọn cái bếp xong rồi về là ba làm cái ly nhá. Đây, giỏi lắm. Đi cẩn thận nhá. Đúng rồi.
Confident and independent, Lily walked out onto the porch by herself, where her familiar wooden cart was waiting, and began her little adventure with a look of determination. After a short distance, she saw a few small children playing happily. Drawn in by their cheerful laughter, Lily stopped her cart, intending to run over and play. But then she suddenly remembered the important task her dad had given her. She couldn't keep him waiting. Lily quickly said goodbye to her friends, gripped the handle of her wooden cart, and hurried towards the supermarket. She arrived at the supermarket, her bright eyes scanning around for the items her dad had mentioned. She stopped at the fruit counter, carefully selecting the reddest, juiciest apples.
2.
Lily knew this was the secret ingredient for their wonderful buns. After carefully choosing the apples, Lily also picked up a small bag of flour, loaded everything onto her cart, and began her journey home.
Thank you. La la la.
On the way back, while pushing her little cart full of her successful haul, Lily suddenly saw an old woman sitting huddled by the side of the road. She stopped her cart, hesitated for a moment, and then, without further thought, took the biggest, reddest apple from her basket, trotted over, and placed it in the old woman's hand. Although no words were spoken, Lily felt a warm joy spread throughout her body. That small act made her feel happier than watching a good movie or eating a delicious treat. When she got home, Lily proudly showed her dad her successful shopping trip.
Dad. Dad.
Ồ, vậy nè con. Đồ đâu? Rồi, chào ba tiếng nhé. Đây rồi ha. Đi thẳng ha, xin lỗi mọi người nè. Rồi. Đâu, qua đường vào đây một nè. Chào mọi người nhá. Bây giờ mình bắt đầu mình làm bánh đi nhá. Đi thì mình cột sẵn lên này. Táo này. Đây mình làm bánh táo ha. Được không?
The two of them went into the kitchen together. The small kitchen suddenly became lively.
Rồi, kia đâu ra súp nè. Súp nè.
Dad poured the flour into a bowl and
Súp
slowly
nè.
added water while stirring.
Súp. Giỏi quá. Đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Vậy thôi ha. Đây rồi. Chọn này tí ha. Dẻo quá hả? Thì dẻo kéo luôn. Đã quá ha. Mẹ bị kẹt lắm liền nha. Thấy, thấy chưa? Nghe. Thấy không? Wow.
When the dough started to come
Đây nè.
together, he said,
Ồ,
All
bây giờ
right,
tay chị
time to
đi
use our
nha.
hands.
Quên mất
But
ha.
first, we have to wash
đi
them
ra ngoài
very
nha.
well. With that, he lifted Lily up to the sink.
Chị đã sạch sẽ mình làm bánh nhé. Quên mất ha.
Carefully lathered her tiny hands with fragrant soap
Đây, đây, đây,
and
đây.
rinsed them with clean water.
Bánh bông. Rồi, con lính đấy nào. Vào đây. Đây các bạn. Ui giời. Quá ha. Đấy, mình lại lát mình ăn phải đau bụng ha. Đó. Ai chả thơm quá. Thơm quá rồi ha.
After they both dried their hands, Dad began to knead the dough on the table until it was smooth and soft.
Đầu tiên nha, bây giờ mình bắt đầu nhân trộn bột này. Đây. Em cần đi. Đúng rồi, tao muốn cầm lắm hả? Đây. Thử đi, thử đi. Lấy đi, lấy đi. Đây này, đây này. Và lấy đi, lấy đi. Đây đây, đúng rồi, đây đây. Đây đây. Đúng rồi.
Lily watched with curiosity and imitated him, taking a small piece of dough and molding it in her hands, thoroughly enjoying
Đấy,
herself.
đúng rồi. Dính cái đáy bếp á, dính liền. Đúng rồi, giỏi. Thơm ha. Bây giờ chuyển qua mình làm cái này nhá. Đây ha.
While they waited for the dough to rest, they moved on to making the filling.
Đây là làm gì? Rồi, này mà là táo cái ly nha. ba được không? Thứ ba được không? Này. Đúng rồi. Phải lắm. Kia giỏi. Ngon quá hả? Cái này là cái táo mà bỏ vào trong nhân nha, nhân bánh nha.
Dad peeled the apples and diced them into
Ngon
tiny
đi.
neat
Táo
cubes.
ngon quá hả?
Lily helped by putting the cut
Ăn
apple
luôn ấy.
pieces into
Rồi,
a bowl.
nha. Rồi.
The most exciting part finally arrived. Dad pinched off small balls of dough, flattened them into wrappers,
Rồi ha.
placed a spoonful of apple filling in the center, and skillfully pinched the edges together, creating beautiful little buns. Lily didn't shape the buns herself. She sat beside him, watching his every move with a look of pure admiration.
Dính cái đáy bếp á. Dính cái liền. Ngon không? Đây.
Each time her dad finished a bun, he would hand it to her. She would carefully take the masterpiece with both hands and gently place it in the steamer, arranging them neatly for the final step.
Bỏ đây ha. Được không? Thử đi. Đúng rồi. Đây, cho xem này. Muốn xem đúng không? Rồi, nó bỏ bên kia đi. Đúng rồi, đỏ quá. Đây nha, bỏ đây ha. Đẹp không? Bỏ kia đi coi. Giỏi. Bạn lấy cái này để đi ăn nhé. Ngon hả? Để bạn ăn bánh ha.
When the buns were all lined up in the steamer, Dad placed it on the stove to steam. While they waited, they prepared some more fruit for dessert.
Không hả? Không hả? Rồi, đây ba nè. Bây giờ thì ăn bánh nha.
Soon, when the pristine white buns were cooked, a sweet, fragrant aroma filled the entire house.
Chào tí nha. Chào tí nha. Chào xíu. Bánh nhân táo nè.
Dad carefully took the buns out and placed them on a plate.
Đi một cái vào một cái nha.
Wow.
Rồi, đi thôi. Đi thôi. Đây, ngồi đây ha.
He set the meal on the table. Lily sat in her chair, eagerly
Ừ.
looking at their creation.
Ừ.
She picked up a fork, carefully speared a piece of a bun, and slowly brought it to her mouth.
Ừ. 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 Ngon quá ha. Không ngờ lại ngon vậy ha. Ừ. Ừ. Như này mà. Bên trong có nhân đấy, nhân táo đấy. Ừ. Ừ. Lần đầu tiên Ly ăn cái bánh này mọi người. Bánh nếp ấy. Bánh nếp nhân táo.
The sweetness of the flour and the aroma of the filling blended
Ngon quá.
together, creating a truly special flavor.
Ừ. Ừ. Ngon nhỉ. Ừ. 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 Ngon quá. Ăn đi nha. Ở đây ha.
The simple meal was filled with laughter and happiness, the sweet result of their combined effort and love. That afternoon, the sweltering summer heat made Lily feel very uncomfortable as she swayed in her hammock. It's so hot today, she sighed. A cool idea suddenly struck her. Lily hopped down from the hammock and ran straight to the bathroom. With all her might, she pushed the pink bathtub into place. To reach the faucet, she climbed onto a white paint bucket. And used her tiny feet to turn the handle. Water rushed into the tub. Once everything was ready, Lily joyfully jumped into the tub, happily splashing around in the cool, soapy water. It's so cool, she chirped, enjoying her creation. Her happy giggles echoed through the bathroom, chasing away the summer heat. But she wasn't done yet. Lily grabbed the shampoo bottle and pushed the pump a few times to make a bubbly foam.
Ly ơi, Ly, Ly ơi. Ly ơi, đưa nè. Ly ơi.